Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast, Who TF Are You? My name is Chris TheHighGuy Jacobs, and today I've got a very special guest with me, the one and only CornBread420, coming to us on his birthday. Happy birthday, Cornbread. Welcome to the podcast. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and tell us where you're from.
I'm Cornbread. I'm from the United States, Region 606, SDC.
Very, very nice to have you from the United States. I see you representing the flag in the background, so I can definitely understand where that patriotism comes from. Me living in Canada, if I could put a Canadian flag up back there, I would, but not today. So, anyways, we got a bit of a special episode today. Like I said, it's your birthday. How old are you turning, if you don't mind me asking?
I think 42.
You think 42. Perfect. Truth be told, you couldn't tell me how old I was anyways. Was that the woman in the background? Your wife?
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
He's 42 today.
You're 42. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'm proud to see it. And that's a cute little doggo. I love dogs. What's his name, her name?
Her name's Daisy.
Her name's Daisy, dude.
I had breast condition. It's one of got.
Day.
Yeah, this one had a bad start.
Yeah.
Her first 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Got trapped in my house. Ever since.
No, Mama.
Oh no.
He's in with my girls.
That's nice. Like I said, I got dogs out here because we raise goats. So we got I think 5 or 6 dogs on the farm. And I love dogs. I have a special place in my heart for them. I think they're the best animals. We definitely don't deserve them. I think humans kind of take advantage of them. We definitely have them around for our benefit. So,
most definitely. Like I would raise the dog too. Like a dog's inside the house.
Mhm.
It's part of the family, but its job is to protect the house.
Mm-hmm.
A dog that's a hunting dog is be tended to outside and whatnot, and be treated differently than a dog inside the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But a dog is very much smarter than any other creature on this planet, including us.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's definitely a different connection, and I think it's funny because there's some studies that will show you that dogs feel more love for their humans than they feel for their own kids.
You mama big girl.
Yeah, they feel more love for their owners than they do their own children, which to me just signifies how much that connection really is. Anyways, let's jump back into the game here. We're going to have it, like I said, a bit of a special episode today because we are dabbling in a bit of the enlightening material, the elevating material. Just because not only is it about that time, 4:20 in the afternoon, but my man Cornbread is a good proponent of the herbs. So we're going to go ahead and dabble in that a little bit. So I hope you guys at home are doing the same. Go ahead, pack a bowl, roll a joint, roll a blunt if you want to get crazy. Do what you need. Let's turn this up to 11. Now, you said you're in Region 606, right?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
Since we came to this game, we left another game and came here.
So you've been in 606 since you started. You have not moved any other region since.
No, sir.
That is crazy. Most people jump around a lot of regions. Why didn't you?
Well, when we started this game, we didn't expect it to be the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
what were you playing before?
Believe it was something called Dustlands, and before that it was King of the West, and we were playing King of the West until they shut the server down. Like they shut the game completely down.
God damn.
And then we started playing at Dustlands. Somebody told us about this game because somebody told me about Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly why we moved from Dustlands to here, is because of Tom.
You moved because of Tom?
But I'm an avid SEC fan, dude. Ole Miss Rebels.
That's so funny. That's so good. I love it. That's so good. So you came just because of Tom.
My brother Savage followed me.
Yeah.
We started our alliance from no one's anything about anything, and literally made it into Zone 3 the first try. I took the level 4 that we now share with ADP that we started doing recently,
Yeah.
and we've held control of the 4 since.
Oh.
Like came here and within the first couple months we started participating in events. We didn't realize how far advanced we had gotten so quickly until people had been telling us.
Until you start looking at it going, oh yeah, we really have moved ahead a lot decently, hey?
Yeah, but we didn't realize it. We just thought we were just a movie. We just thought it was like all the other games until we actually started playing.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, it's one of those things. Once it gets its claws into you, it doesn't like to let go. So we were talking. You're just under, somewhere under 300 days in the game, which would make sense.
Yes.
If you started in 606 and there's like 800 and something now, that would make sense. You should be about 220, 250, something like that. And in that time, you've amassed what? Just under 80 million might.
Yes, but that 80, I could have had tier 5 like 4 months ago.
So why don't you?
Because I'm working on my armaments. But all right. So when I unlock my tier 5,
Yeah,
I'm gonna literally shoot straight for tier 6. I'm already almost got a battle center 25.
okay, but do you know that the last? I feel like I'm about to shatter your dreams here, 11. Do you know the last 3 upgrades you have to do before tier 6?
Yes, sir. I also know about the triangle.
You know how long that lasts?
Yes, sir.
You have speed ups for all of it?
We will.
Because it's like, altogether, it's like 3 years of speed ups.
I plan on having tier 6 by the first year. At least tier 6 started. My brother plans on having tier 6 by the first of the year too.
Well, I'll give you mad props, man. I'm here supporting you. I know what that grind is like, and the only reason I ask is because, like I said, that last triangle is like, it's like 100, 200, 300 in the last. It's 300 days just in the last one. It's almost 2 years of speed ups just to go from tier 5 to tier 6. 3 years of speed ups almost to go from tier 5 to tier 6. That's crazy.
Yeah, you get a crap ton if you hit. All right. Well, the zombies give you a lot.
Sure, but that's, stamina. How do you use all your how much stamina do you have?
I don't use stamina. I use Peggy and Bard.
Sure, but like that's not. Sorry, go ahead.
I cheated. I cheat the system. I use Peggy and Bard, and I can sit there and hit zombies all day long without using no stamina hardly.
I
Maybe
get it.
Once or twice I refill it.
But you're also not getting the value. Like, you can do that for your zombies, but I'm going to clear out, 3,000 zombies in the same time that you're going to clear out 100.
But I ain't using no stamina though.
Sure. So you're going to grind. So that means that you have to grind it. I guess it depends on your time. If you're willing to put in the time, it makes sense. But like, I'm at a point now where running zombies is just so painful.
But yeah, that's how I've been kind of cheating the system. I've been farming speed ups that way. My account, I kind of listened to this other YouTuber called Charmander, and this is where I kind of messed up at. I focused on my gatherers, Peggy, Russell, and Martin first before I did any of my field fighters. But I will say, now that I've got all of them done and awakened, my account has been growing a whole lot faster.
Mm-hmm. Well, farming is important. Peggy is important. Martin, Russell. You've basically got 5 zombie hunters, right? You've got Peggy, Martin, Russell, Lee, and Jaden. Those are your 5 zombie fighters. Outside of that, you're not really going to use any other ones to hunt zombies, or at least you really shouldn't. So, so it makes sense, pardon me, why you'd want to get those kind of up fast so you can level your heroes faster. You can absolutely get in more into the game and get your heroes up, leveled 60 faster than normal, or having to dump experience into them. I think the problem that I have is the fact that farming becomes such a heavy requirement that you need to be working on your farmers and your farmer armaments now. You know what I mean? Like, you should be working on your farming armaments now too. Do you have armaments on your farmers?
Yes, sir. But I
Good.
don't. All right. So my superbs, I put on chasing.
Mm.
My
That reminds me, I forgot to ask, what is your main? Are you a rider main?
Yes, sir.
Good. Another rider main. That's cool.
I started out infantry, like I said, Tom, but with the first 3 months, my account just went rider on its own.
Yeah.
Even though I just went with what it is.
Just getting what the game gives you, hey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I
But
think
I'm thinking that might be with my skins as well because I buy skins.
like which skins are you talking about? The shelter skins?
Not the ones that cost no $500-$800.
Yeah, the $10 shelter skins? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Or I'll spend 20 on one.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I don't have any of the legendary skins yet, and I don't think I'll ever get one, but unless they make a cannabis derived one. If they make one that's like a walking cannabis leaf, then I'll have to get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll have to get it.
Dude, remember we had this conversation? We were begging, we were praying right before 420. We wanted them to do something for us. And I even messaged them folks.
Yeah. I would definitely have to splurge on that. My wife would probably be mad at me, but it would be worth it.
You better watch it. You got two. So you better watch what you say. You got two of them. One's out of town right now.
Fuck.
I got two wives.
You got two.
Why do you have two
You
wives?
got one, you got two.
I don't know. I had to ask them, but yes.
Oh, Jesus, man. My man is working.
Because
my man is working. That's crazy. No, I can appreciate that, especially nowadays. I don't mind. I think
now with the jobs that I do, because this job I got now, it's real laid back, real easy. But I had one like the one I was telling you about where I had my stroke.
Yeah,
it was a job that caused the stroke,
yeah.
but it was also a job that was literally killing me.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't honestly think that I was going to be around long enough to get old with her. So I allowed her to choose somebody else to come in, type of thing.
Oh, that's respectable, and I totally understand that. Like, I look at it as a situation that says relationships for people is their own shit. I don't give a shit. Like, I have no room to say anything about anybody else's shit because it's not mine. If it was my shit, if it was my relationship, I would have total say on that. But I have no problem, right, letting people do their own thing. And I think it's respectable that you understood that there was a possibility or a risk, right? And that right there shows personal growth, personal understanding. I think that's a far more mature step. You know what I mean? So I give you a lot of props for that.
Well, the immature answer to that is I know how to do math. 2 titties, 4 titties.
Sure. but you also hold on. You also know how to do math, right? 10 nails equals 20 nails. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of a sudden now you're paying for more nails. You're paying for 2 times the hair. You're paying for 2 times the makeup and 2 times the estimate. You know what I mean? I get it.
Not to mention the house I'm about to build for them.
Yeah, exactly. Then you got to provide them a nice place, and then oh man, it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The breast of both worlds.
They work it. They take care of them.
That's good. No, I appreciate that. Okay, so Rider Main, 80 million might, 300 days in the game. Let me ask you an honest question.
Yes, sir.
Who is your favorite hero currently?
Aesthetically or like play wise?
Both.
Aesthetically, it's still going to be Tom, sir.
Beautiful. Still going back to the classic what brought you in the first place. I get you. And now who is the favorite one to play with? Yeah, that's right.
Well, I like it depends. If I'm playing Water Wars and Bounty Ground, my go-to feather's Park. But I like that new Daryl.
Good.
Daryl and Elena.
Good. Daryl and Elena's a good mix. It's a good max. A good lineup, anyways. Decent speed, especially if they're awakened. I'm an infantry main, so I like beating up on riders. It's fine for me. That's fine. Bring out your Daryl. That's fine. I'll bring out my Boyd or Eileen or whoever else.
But like if you go with my arena team,
yeah,
I do AODs. I mean AOEs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do AOEs.
Right.
Like my account is focused AOE as much as it is rider.
Right. As many of the AOE characters as you can.
I got them all.
Yeah, that makes sense. What did she say?
Oh, she talked to my dog.
Oh.
One of them.
I thought she said Chasey is still, and I was like, what? What?
No, but I put all my superbs on Chasey, and I'm working on a Garrison build. Even though I'm a high end low spender, I spend about $50 to $60 a month. But I buy gold with it, so I'm actually getting more. Like I'll get the $20 monthly thing, and then I'll get like $20 every 2 weeks and $10 every other week.
It's better to be that way anyways. It's better to buy gold anyways. Gold is worth more. And I don't mean gold. I mean game gold. I know what you're saying.
Yes. I buy that silver.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than gold.
You can get more of it too, right? It's heavier. No, it's not heavier, but it's definitely denser. No, not denser, sorry, but like not as bendy. That's what I meant.
Yes.
Gold is bendy as shit.
Gold soft. Pure gold is softer, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I just took a bong rip. It's right to my head. What do you expect? So, a rider main, you like Tom still. That's what you came for. Let me ask you.
Yes.
The alliance that you're in, what alliance is that again?
SDC.
SDC. Is that the same alliance you've been in since the start?
Yes.
So you guys basically started the alliance? Or were you as one of the ones that started it, or did you just join into them?
All right. Well, that goes back to 3 games ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, technically, yes. Technically, I originally started it here.
But you brought people in from a game that was 3 games ago to come join you in this one.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was just like we went from one game to the next to the next.
Yeah, makes sense.
Good.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then we gathered people along the way.
That's very cool.
Like there was people in the last game that wasn't with us the first game that came with us this game.
Yeah. So you've been like amassing more, like a falling snowball going down the hill.
Yeah, my brother's one hell of an R5.
So your brother runs the alliance, does he?
Well, technically, yes. Our another really close friend of ours that's been with us, and he was an R4 like long before I started with him. Like he was with my brother before I started playing.
Yeah.
Now, he's the R5 right now.
You're an R4, I assume.
But if you were to ask anybody in the alliance who the leader is, they're going to say Savage, B, and me.
Mm-hmm. Because you guys kind of share it a lot, do you? He just holds the position.
Well, I don't really do Naren except build towers.
Makes sense.
It's family. It's more of a family than anything. But we like to fight.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, I think that's the right mentality. That's like I said, that's one of the things that we've done at GROP, and I think we've done very well. Is we've developed, a core group of players that really like to get out and fucking bang. You know what I mean? Like they wanna get out and fight troops. They don't want to build troops just to look at. They want to build troops to use, and I think that's a big thing. So if you can start to develop that understanding early, I think you're already in a winning place. Especially it's 80 million or whatever.
Yes, sir. That's what I was about to say. Even though I know I got 80 million, but I still only got tier 4.
Mm-hmm.
And how many tier 4 you count? It's only got 24 million kills.
So the question I have is why you haven't taken, like, what's holding you back from getting your tier 5s over tier 4s?
Because I want to finish my economy research. That way, when I get ready to start working on, once I start the tier 5s, I'm going to go straight to tier 6s. And every time there's a rider tier C, I'm going to get more.
You
Like I
basically you
said,
wanted to get your economy tree done first, is what you're saying.
yes, sir. But I also got my riders 15 all the way across. That way I ain't got to come back to do them again.
Okay, so you're actually farther along. You're actually just you could get your riders as soon as you get your triangle done.
I can unlock tier 5 on. I can show you screenshots. I could have had all tier 5s 4 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, if the tier 5 isn't the one holding you back, because the thing is, you're still gonna have to upgrade all your troops. How many troops do you have?
I keep killing them. I'm a firm believer that they were trained to die, sir.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I appreciate that. I appreciate that sentiment. That's exactly what I think that they're for.
I could survive about 3 full marches of riders.
Mm-hmm.
I could send 1 before I have to start healing of infantry, and I got about 4 of range I can send at you before I have to start healing.
Just give me 1 second. My child is begging me for some paper. I don't even know if I have any paper over here anymore. I don't even know where the paper is, sweetie. What? Yeah, I don't know where it is. It's not here. And it's not over here. Unless it's behind, but I don't think it is. I don't know what to tell you. I got lined paper, but not white paper.
Lined paper's fine.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you a big stack of it, okay?
Okay.
All right. And we're back. And we're back. What were we talking about? Riders? Oh, marches, troops. That's right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess I see your sentiment. I guess I see your perspective. I just know that the difference between tier 4 and tier 5 is pretty drastic. The difference between tier 5 and tier 6 is pretty drastic. And knowing that you're going to have to train your troops and upgrade them anyways, it's almost like you want to get your tier 5 started as quick as you can. But if your whole thing is to wait until your economy tree is done, I totally get that too. I'm still working on my economy tree.
Arms.
Yeah.
While I'm building on arms.
Yeah.
And getting strengthened.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, like I said, I'm at a point where I didn't do my economy tree first, and so my farming kind of struggled because of it, but now I'm balanced back up, so it feels a little bit better, but I get where you're coming from. Makes sense. So let me ask you, I mean, you've been in the game now for 300 days or so. What do you think the game has done in those last 300 days? Like, how do you think the progression of the game has gone since you started?
Honestly?
Yeah.
A skilled player, when I first started, a skilled player could have competed.
Yeah.
Now, nowadays, no, sir. You actually have to spend money to do anything on here nowadays.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah, that's true. I think
even the little $20 70 gold a day thing ain't enough no more.
Yeah.
You literally have to drop extra money throughout the month.
Yeah.
And they don't even give you the $2 gold pack for the week no more.
You kind of hit on something that I've talked a lot about, and this game used to be free to play. I think it used to be free to play, but now I consider this a game that is free to try, but pay to play. Like you can do it for free, and you can try most of the things for free, but you really can't compete for free. You really can't, do really well for free. You're not going to grow very fast for free. Like it becomes a real slog.
Well, I don't know if I can say this, or you might have to cut this out, but what about bots?
What about them?
That's how we do it.
No, but that's allowed within the system. That has nothing to do with it.
Right. Okay. So a free-to-play player can still, the only thing really holding a free-to-play player back is armaments.
It's going to be armaments and heroes.
And now beasts.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
But armaments and heroes can really be handled if a free to play player participates in events. And with bots, as long as they're smart, they can get out there in PvP and auto heal. We have accounts. I'm not. I wait 3 months before I start using resources. That means I've got all my stuff gathered up in there. I've got hellacious gatherers, so I ain't never worried about resources. Plus, I've got a farm if I need it, and I've got another account just in case I wanted to start another one because I learned how to link up the IGG account.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't need resources. We can give them to folks, and that's all they need. They'll use the bots.
Right.
They can grow like that.
The problem is, here's the thing. I agree with you up until one point. And do you know what that point is?
Also, I'm probably high.
Tier 6. The difference is you are being blinded right now by Tier 4, and I'm gonna put this out to you very quickly. Okay? I currently have all Tier 6. I've got 1 million infantry. Well, I got 1.4 million infantry, 700,000 riders, and 500,000 ranged. Okay? I killed off 700,000 Tier 6 troops. Dead in the last 2 event cycles. So I went from 2.5 million down to, like, 2.4 million down to 2.1 million down to 1.4. But here's the problem. That's on top of spending over 2 billion resources, 2 billion food, and 2 billion wood for healing for Tier 6 troops. So when we talk about the problem being resources and farming, in order to participate in an event, it's going to cost you 250 million, maybe 220 million food, 220 million wood, and 70 million oil just to clear your hospital one time. So I end up spending in an event where I'm earning 200 million points because I'm a 200 million account. I end up spending 1 billion resources to 2 billion resources every single fighting event. And I have 3 farm accounts, and it struggles to keep up farming for 1 fighting account that I pay for.
296
so, like, what's that?
days.
296 days of speed ups?
No, that's how long that account is.
296. Okay, so right before 300. So in that time, I mean, we're basically talking about a situation where a free-to-play player in that time is going to be struggling to get the heroes because, of course, heroes come out in selection, and you have to compete in TC to get the top ones.
Yes, sir.
Right? And unfortunately, the way that the game is balanced, those top ones are the best ones.
Well, not just TC. I mean, there's only Bard, that little Red Riding Hood girl, and then you got Bard, Riding Hood girl, and then you got that samurai feller. Ain't he, or is he roulette?
Yeah, he's in the roulette. Are you talking about who's available on the TC to choice? Bard,
okay, so
Ethan.
That's it.
So
Ethan's decent.
Because here's the thing, it goes in cycles, right? So it'll go, like, right now we're doing ranged, then it's going to go riders next, then it's going to go infantry, then it's going to go ranged, riders, infantry. So when it goes ranged, you only have access to Ethan, Bard, Jacob, or Johnny. Okay?
Right, but only Ethan and Bard are worth anything.
Exactly. So you got Ethan and Bard, and even Bard is like, I wouldn't necessarily choose Bard anymore. I would go heavier on Ethan. Ethan is much better.
The AoE's nice.
And then, yeah, but the Ethan AoE is better. And Ethan AoE does more skill damage too, because it buffs AoE damage as well. So that's why Ethan Lewis, for example, is one of the top Garrison lines for range. because it does ridiculous amounts of AoE damage and bonuses AoE damage and is Garrison strong. So it's really heavy. But even in that situation, I would focus Ethan over Bard. And when you go to riders, you've got what, Rubina, or you've got Chasey, right? You got Rubina, Chasey, I think, and the other two again don't matter.
No, sir.
Right?
Not there.
Right? And the same with infantry. You've got Stella and Boyd. You've got Riven. Riven is still important, but then you got Thunder. Thunder's not important anymore. Right? So it literally comes down to focusing on the newest heroes as they come out, which I think is unfortunate because it devalues all the work that we put into all these older heroes. Because, again, it's not that these heroes are bad. An Awakened Eddie is still an Awakened Eddie. Right? There's still value behind having him. However,
I've had many and smack me around.
Yeah, however, it's not as valuable to spend fragments into these older heroes, knowing how much stronger these newer heroes are. Like when I got Boyd awakened, first when I got him and I awakened him, he radically changed my game, right? Radically changed the strength of my Garrison. Now that I know that there's new heroes coming again, I'm now saving everything so that when the new Garrison hero comes for infantry, I can again dump everything, get him awakened, and radicalize my game again. But it's one of those things where now you have to be really, really stringent on saving everything. Because I don't even have Boyd transcended, and he's still really good. I couldn't imagine if he was transcended too. I couldn't imagine. No, so you said you have your stuff pasted on Chasey. Do you have Chasey transcended at all?
No, sir. She's been slow. Like I was a reread when I first started. Like I said, first 3 months I was doing nothing but working on Tom. Because the $5 Tom pack was available at that point. He wasn't a free hero.
Yeah.
He became a free hero like a month later. But I had to get that $5 Tom pack. So I got it.
Nice.
And then that's what first 3 months I dumped into him. He was the first legendary hero that awakened, and I don't even use him.
Yeah, not anymore. Do you have any other ones awakened? Like who else do you have awakened?
That's it.
Just Tom?
Maxine
and Tom?
Yeah.
So,
but I've got them close. Like Felix is close.
Good. How close is your Daryl? You can say not. That's fine.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not even halfway, but I'm working on him. But I've got the frags. I'm just waiting on that TC.
Good. Make sure you hold all that stuff. Now, I'm not sure if you know the tip about honing to make sure that you're saving all your hones for the honing challenge. Don't use your honing during TC. Use your hones during the honing challenge instead. Your rare hones?
I know. I've watched some videos. Yeah, I've watched you. I've watched Armored. I know. I don't pay no attention.
You still do them during TC?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, I'm telling you right now, you are going to, once you understand, and I even had this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, because he's in an awkward position too, right? He's a big account, and he's investing a lot. Well, not investing, but he's putting a lot into parts. So he's got parts that he's working on. He wants to get his parts white, and I totally understand why he wants to get his parts white. But the conversation is that I think he needs to start putting more into his vehicles because his vehicles aren't as high as they should be by comparison. And so he says it's the same thing. Once there's this shift that happens in your brain, there's this shift that happens. Those red cores, those guaranteed red hones. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say these guaranteed red hones?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've seen y'all's videos.
So those are, once you start to get them, just get one or two of them, they change your entire game and you go, oh, so that's why they're important. And you'll never use another hone on TC again because those red hones are so freaking hard to get. They take so many regular hones, like so many rare hones to get naturally. Just saving up 550 so that you can have 2 guaranteed red hones is like game changing. I'll tell you right now, you want to get a good setup on your superbs, you need those guaranteed red hone canisters.
Yeah, and I ain't done no kind of honing on Chasey neither because, like, I watched the video and it had another video linked to it,
Yeah.
and that because that video was mentioned in that video, and then I don't remember because I'm not very good with this whole computer stuff, and I ended up losing that,
Sure.
and I can't remember, and it was specifically about Chasey and her Garrison home.
Sure.
And so I ain't touched it because I've been trying to find that video, but that's been like 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
So the hardest thing I think that most people have when it comes to hones, I think, is just understanding how they work. Can I ask you a simple question? And I want you to answer as honestly as you can.
Yes, sir.
The hones that you have on your equipment, how do you think that they work?
I don't know, but this is what I've done on my rider homes.
Yeah.
Attack speed, attack lethality, uh, attack attack buff, whether it be the squad attack or rider attack, rider or squad lethality or speed. Them three things: attack, lethality, speed. That's the only thing I put on my riders. My gatherers, what other resource they're gathering,
Mm-hmm.
it's that squad load and squad speed.
Okay.
And that's the only thing I've done.
Okay. So then you're doing the right thing. What a lot of people want, and I just wanted to clarify this, what a lot of people do is they think that the hones, like I'll give you an example. If you're a rider main, right? And I heard the right words. You said it was either the squad lethality or rider lethality, right? Because what a lot of people will do is they'll put infantry defense on their rider armaments, thinking that it's providing defense against infantry troops, when in reality, it would be providing defense to your infantry troops instead. Do you see what I'm saying? So your rider lethality is adding to your rider troops, whereas if you sent those armaments and you sent infantry troops with that hero, those infantry troops wouldn't gain benefit from the rider defense buffs, right? They wouldn't gain that benefit. So there's this huge misunderstanding that people have when they talk about how strong their heroes are versus how strong they actually are. I spent some time going through some people's accounts, and this is actually something I'm thinking of doing more often, diving into their accounts to kind of take a look at what they've done and kind of critique them on that. But like, they'll have half of their hones are garrison or rally hones, right? Because they think that that's a benefit no, that's not how the hones work. So there's a huge misunderstanding on how hones work. So I'm glad that you have a good understanding on it. I'm glad that you have that wrapped up because that's.
Well, hold on. Like,
I say good because it's more than the average person.
I don't know nothing about hones. I just use common sense.
Yes, but here's the thing. Common sense isn't so common nowadays.
Yeah, I know.
We can agree on that. You know what I mean? Common sense. I wish it was more common.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know well enough. Because, like, I know that because that same video that I was speaking on, the one I'm trying to find that I lost like months ago, that broke down Chasey, it also broke down infantry or range. It broke down Garrison, period. But it specifically stated that Chasey had her own Garrison homes.
Right. So Chasey is a little different because like Chasey's a Garrison hero, but the problem with Chasey is that she doesn't do well with swarming, right? She's a single target defensive hero. And unfortunately, because of how they're also changing how the towers are going to work, swarming is going to be more of a thing. It's going to be more prevalent, which sucks for Chasey. So the problem with Chasey is in order to make her good in defense, you have to stack a couple of things specifically. You have to stack defense specifically, rider defense or squad defense, and you need to stack garrison counter damage, right? So you need to also stack garrison counter damage specifically, and defense. Those are the two main ones that you want to put on your Chasey, simply because that's what she lacks the most. And if you're going to want to deal the most against being swarmed, you need a lot of counter damage and a lot of just high defense in general, right?
I thought about that, so I've been working on that Red Riding Hood girl as well for
Rubina.
rallies.
Yeah, Rubina.
Yes, so if they're swarming. If they hit me with a rally and they're swarming, so that's one march. That'd be with chasing inside the tower. Now, I know I'm far away from this. There's a lot of work for my account before I can even think about doing this. I know this. So I'm talking probably 2 or 3 years from now. But if I were to put chasing inside that tower, and I were to have that little Red Riding Hood girl with that useless counter rally feller, the one that's on the little back from the
Jonathan.
future skateboard.
Yeah, Jonathan.
I'm guessing so. I ain't got him yet. I ain't worried about him. But if I were to use him, that would just give me 3 more marches that I can just go out there and get more points.
Sure. But see, what I would probably do is I would probably put Rubina with Felix or Daryl as your rally choice. I would rather put Chasey Felix. I would put Chasey Felix and Garrison, and then I would put Rubina, Daryl, and Rally, and then I would fill out the rest that you can with your field. I mean, you got Bella Elena still, which is a good march for riders. You still got I mean, who else do you have that's you can fit? I mean, at that point, you've already got your 6 rider hero, so you'd have to fill in with infantry arranged, but it's not a problem.
No.
You still got Tom Awakened. Tom Rigaro, baby! That classic line.
Hey, look, I tried that when I first started. I realized early on that was not going to work.
It's a tanky line. It was, pardon me, let me rephrase. It was a tanky line back in the day. It's not good enough now because the heroes are too broken, but back in the day, it was a good line.
All right, so I'm going to go back to when we first started now, because when we first started, Tom was a $5 hero after the first week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we thought it was like all the other games. We came into 606 literally aggressive, fighting anybody and everything, wiping everything out in our path, all the way up until we got to zone 3. And the dude that was not the leading alliance that's there now, they took it away from the folks that got the metro. There was a bunch of drama that we stayed out of, but we was seriously aggressive all the way through. I was very aggressive. That being said, I tried field fighting with Tom and Raggero.
No, you can't field fight with Tom and Rigaro. No. But in Garrison, Tom and Rigaro is still tanky. It does pretty okay. You know what I mean?
I tried field fighting, sir.
Yeah,
and that was my first squad.
No, that's not a field fighting squad. No, you'd want to do a Dut and Tom. A Dut and Tom is still okay. I still like a Dut Tom, or Miyamoto Tom would be fun. That'd be fine too. Give you a little bit more punch and a little bit more sustainability in defense. But that's just me. I'm an infantry main. I live for that shit. I want to get deep in the fight and stand in there and take all that damage. Ah!
But like I said, we came here assuming it was like them other games, and I thought with the stash that both of them had, that working them together would work really well fighting.
Yeah,
and it just didn't. Like,
no. This game is a little bit different. Like, I have to give it credit. One of the things that I've always liked about it is the fact that it has mechanics that I don't normally see in these types of games. Right? Like, it has mechanics. The fighting in the field, for example, the strategy that comes with fighting in the field and, like, back and forthing and making sure that you're staying at distance and all this kind of stuff. And making sure that you're not the target and jumping through shelters and jumping through nodes. There's a ton of strategy that happens in the actual fighting. Pardon me, I got the hiccups. A ton of actual strategy that happens in the fighting. And I think that by its own right is one of the big things that keeps me around. But it's the mechanics and it's the community. It's the changing community, right? The new people that I'm meeting on a day-to-day basis. And all of this kind of compounds to a game that that you don't normally experience. And I think that's one of the things that, it kind of gets me too. The mechanics are a huge part of it. Hold on a second.
Right.
What was that? Hello? Hello? Who's in the kitchen? Hold on a second. My kids are fucking with me. 1 second.
You good.
Oh, we got 3 kids.
What are you doing, dog?
Hey, we're gonna need some more.
Was that you, dog? Did you do something in here?
12:14.
It was my dog.
Hey, don't worry. When you heard my dog bark a while ago, it was tweakers next door. I cannot wait to move.
Tweakers?
Oh man, you have no clue.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You got no clue, my brother.
I used to live in a pretty shady area of Saskatoon too, so I understand.
I'm a hillbilly, and I got all my teeth, and I'm from Mississippi, so I allow
no
me to
judgments,
stay
no
still.
judgments.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I'm living in a trailer park in the South.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm surrounded, literally.
You've got Breaking Bad to deal with.
One of the best schools in the state. I can literally take a rock and throw it and hit the building from where I'm standing on my porch. I'm that close to this school. This is a 3-bedroom house. Picked it up for $50,000.
But it's got bad neighbors.
Oh, it's got more than that. Way more than that.
That's unfortunate.
That's why dude, look, I done went back to the bank. If I'm renting from the folks. I'm renting from the folks. All right, so the lady that lost the house to the bank that I was buying it from.
Yeah.
I now signed it back over to her daughter, who now has the property that she's paying the bank and I'm paying her rent.
Okay.
But I got out of this house, so I can go buy my other.
Yeah, I would go buy another one and get out of that he said, she said, paying somebody's who's paying somebody's business. Jesus.
Look, just know I scored myself out of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I definitely would as well, especially when you know what's next door. You know what I mean? Like listen, I get it. I have done drugs in my life. I get it. What I don't get is the craziness that happens from deciding to make it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different step. That's a totally different step.
Man, these dudes are out here weed eating at 11:30 at night.
Oh no.
At 2 a.m., they're out there with a lawnmower. Go out there at 8 o'clock in the morning with the sun up. Some bitch is immaculate. They ain't missed a spot.
Oh no.
They just gotta find the right niche, the right marketplace to sell their shit. Midnight lawn care.
Dude, look, I am one. All right, I have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to that shit. I don't put up with it. Period.
Yeah, I get you.
When we have a more private conversation, I could tell you my own personal experiences with drugs that ain't pot.
Sure. I've dabbled in them too. I get it. I don't get the name TheHighGuy.
It was an accident that I had got in and had a thing go through my leg. It's pretty gruesome. It ain't something you probably want to put on the video.
Oh,
but
you mean?
Ended up getting,
you mean pharmaceuticals?
I got given morphine.
Yeah.
And then after the hospital, I got given lower tabs and then oxycodone.
Yeah.
And then that was the last thing I ever touched in my life.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
There's a gruesome and messed up, so I'll just leave that privately.
That's I appreciate you at least opening up a little bit about it. Was it like an accident or something?
Yeah, put it this way. It starts with morphine and a purple unicorn and ends with Oxycontin in a car crash.
Yeah. No, I get you. We don't have to probe any farther. I understand. I used to do, I've never had issues when it comes to that, but I've never really had any big health issues. I've never been in any kind of big car accidents. I've been in car accidents, but never, I was in a car accident 2 months ago, but the only thing that got hurt was the vehicles and my ego. So it's like nothing really happened from that. I've been in car accidents before, totaled off my vehicles. I don't normally come out injured. I've never broken a bone in my life, so I have no idea how that is experienced either, right? That's what I'm saying. I've never broken a single bone. I mean, besides my toes, which don't count because everyone's broken toes. Those don't count. And I've dislocated, like I can dislocate my thumb and stuff like that, but I've never broken collarbones. I've never broken femurs, never broken, the ulnas, never broken arms, legs, feet. And I've broken ribs, but again, does that really count? I don't think.
Have you lived?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I have. I've been in some precarious positions. I remember once, I'll tell you a story, when I was in grade 7. It would have been grade 7. Grade 7 or grade 8, one of the two, because I was living in Yorkton, Saskatchewan at the time. And I was living with a friend of mine, and we were going, it was winter, and we were going skidooing. He had his brother-in-law out. He has his brother out. A skidoo? Like a snow machine? A snow sled?
Oh.
Like a...
Okay, yeah, that's why I ain't never heard of it.
Yeah, you probably don't have snow down there, hey?
Well, we get it every now and then, but nothing like that. We got jet skis down here.
Yeah, so it's like a jet ski, but for snow.
Yes, I've seen them on TV.
Yeah. So we were doing that. So we hopped on the skidoo, or like the snow machine, and we were pulling a gigantic car hood behind us. A gigantic like truck hood, one of those old 1960s Ford truck hoods. So we tied this to the back of the skidoo, and we go ripping through the forest, and we go ripping through the fields, the farmers' fields, and we're, doing 50, 60, 70 miles an hour down these roads, just holding on bare tight, helmet on, right? Holding on bare knuckle, just going quick. And I'll tell you, we start going down this road. It's like a grid road with heavy bush on either side, heavy trees on either side. And the driver starts swaying back and forth nice and gently, right? He starts swaying back and forth. So we're in the back of this like hood and we're like swinging back and forth, swinging back and forth. Suddenly, the bumper breaks off the skidoo, and that's what we're tied to. So now we're on, and we're going about 40 miles an hour at this point, being dragged behind on this fucking hood, and we get launched into the field, into the bush. Everything goes blank. I wake up. My helmet is shattered. My buddy is 100 feet in the deeper in the bush. His helmet's gone off of him, and I've got the what's it called? The hood of the car, the hood that we were riding on, underneath me, at my throat, with a gigantic tree trunk at the back of me. So I'm sitting here wedged upside down, like hanging there with this fucking thing, and I couldn't move until the fire department came to let me out, and they had to like cut us out of this place. And the worst that I got out of it was a sprain. The worst I got was a simple sprain. So like I've been in precarious situations, just never come out with a broken bone.
That sounded fun, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
The whole time it was fun until I passed out, until we hit the bush and I woke up with this thing pinned at my neck and I couldn't move. That's a scary position. Your helmet's cracked off, things wedged here, you can't move, you can't breathe. That's scary, man. And of course I was like 12, so it's even worse, But the rest of it was fun. Yeah.
I got put on television.
No, that's fine. But the rest was fun. So like I said, I've been in precarious situations. I've never broken a bone. I've never gotten a cast. Never needed one. I've dislocated things, but like that's it.
I broke a collarbone bull riding.
Oh, you were a bull rider. That makes sense.
Awesome. And hold on. All right. And then when I turned, I was like 18 or 19. Anyways, my daughter started kindergarten when she was 5. Yeah. So we got her into kindergarten a little early, but I think so. But I think she was 5.
How old were you when you had your first kid?
Like 17 or 18. She was
Wow.
born 2005.
Gotcha. Wow.
I was me and her mama. It was kind of like the farmer's daughter type of deal, except it wasn't the farm. I ended up marrying the carny boss's daughter. Now I want you to understand this. A hillbilly from the great state of Mississippi
Yeah.
goes and joins up with the carnival because there's a 36 double D set that's messing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
3 months later, she gets knocked up. Because 5 months, actually 5 months later, because it was 3 months. Then 2 months afterwards, we found out she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then January next year, the day Elvis was born, she shares the same birthday as Elvis.
Oh,
like
that's
January
dope.
8th. Yeah, so, and yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's awesome.
Oh,
Fucking
dude, she
sweet.
even does the singing stuff. Yeah,
Man.
she goes to Nashville, does some singing stuff. She done some
She does acting, singing.
she
So-
she went to
Um,
no, it's kind of like American Idol thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Except
sure.
it wasn't American Idol. It was something
X
else.
Factor.
Anyway, she won them things.
Yeah, yeah.
Multiple of them.
So she's a talented individual too.
Yes.
very talented.
Very nice. That's so cool. I mean, that's
Very
a kind of an interesting story. I used to love the carnival, and I used to always want to be like go with the exhibition because we have something called the exhibition here.
Down.
We've got the exhibition
Shut up.
here, and I've always wanted to do that, but I never got a chance.
All right, so I'm gonna say this. Before I met my daughter's mother, my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Before I met her, that first season out there on that corner. I don't know if you could put this on your channel, but there was many of them. I went.
Oh
yep,
yeah. Oh, I know.
Dude, I got it. Dude, you got to think, I'm 17 years old, knocking off mamas and daughters at the same time.
Dude, I get it. I
And
understood.
I'm running kitty ride, 17 years old, knocking off mamas. Married ass women because I'm out of town in the 2 days I'm gone. On a Friday night, I'm guaranteed to get all kinds. They line up, they'll come back one right after another in the parking lot wait on me.
But that was in your younger days. You ain't that young no more.
I recommend this life for any 17-year-old man that isn't like, yes,
What? Crazy like that. Become a juggler.
Listen, when I was younger, I always wanted to work with the exhibition, travel around because it was always so fun. And I did security once. And we followed them around through the entire province, right? Effectively the state of Saskatchewan. And we followed them around to 6 or 7 different destinations. And it was probably the most enjoyable 3 months of my life. It was so much fun. I got to know these people. We ended up partying with them. Like, I totally agree. I totally understand what you're saying. I experienced it. I wasn't 17 at the time. Thank God I was 18. So it wouldn't have been as bad. I was 19 for drinking, so it was okay. But like I can definitely appreciate there is a huge sentiment. It's a free life, man. It is a totally different ballgame. A free life.
Yes, it is a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
And so you got to think, I was married to the boss's daughter. So what happens when we divorced? Now you got to think, I'm a hillbilly. I want you to say, I'm a hillbilly. So when I leave, if I take my child, which I would have every right to, because there was some, it's carnies.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you already know that. So it ain't gonna be that hard for me to get my child. That being said, it's a show owner, so it's not exactly a carny. She owns, she's up there.
Right. She's got value in the company.
He's top dog.
Yes. So that being said, I didn't take her out of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And take her off into the Mississippi woods where she ain't got name. But that's where I'm comfortable from.
Right.
I go back there. I get my mind right. You know what I do when my mind gets right? I get on this telephone that I just learned how to use. because and I had these females from let's see here. It started out Weeds Plant, New York, Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, this ain't in order, but Raleigh, North Carolina. I forgot that town in Ohio, but then I had to walk from her house because that bitch was crazy as shit. Like it walked to her house 2 hours to Columbus. So I don't remember that little town, but I wasn't there but a couple of days.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you about that one another time.
Yeah.
But then there was that girl in Tulsa. That bitch was freaky as shit. And the 18-year-old pregnant girl that I was knocking off up there in Utah. Now this is 29 when I'm getting a divorce now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And these girls were literally sending me bus tickets and $100 and putting me up either in their house or a motel room for the entire 2 weeks that I'm there with the bus ticket to go to the next one.
So you were literally a prostitute. That's so funny. That is so funny to me.
Dude, I fucking knocked one off down there in Costa Rica, dude, in South America.
That's so funny.
I come home, dude. Her husband come home with a fucking suitcase. I'm sitting there in my fucking boxers with his 3-year-old daughter's been calling me Poppy for the past 3 fucking months.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
Oh yes.
Oh goodness. Jesus. CornBread420 coming in with the big licks. That's crazy. No, but I think it's amazing to me because it shows, number one, that every human being has their own experience and they are so drastically different. Like what decisions you made to go down that path in your life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy to me. The experiences that you had because of it, and now here we are today talking about all of that on a podcast. And I think it number one, it proves to me how small the universe and the world actually is, how closely related, because like I said, I had experience with the carnival too. Not to that umpteenth degree, but I definitely, because I can relate to exactly what you're saying. And so it's one of these things. Sorry, go ahead.
I've seen the dark side of that shit too, though.
Of course. I mean, there's a dark side to everything, and I think that's kind of what kept me away to begin with, because once you start to look at all the drugs that were involved, once you start to look at all the massive binge drinking that was involved, the partying, I mean, the lifestyle itself wasn't nurturing like to a long-term type of career. It's definitely more for that part-time experience, and you can start to see that that type of experience when you got those lifers who at 35 look like they're 75. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
time is told on them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean, I know I don't look no 42, but I mean, health wise, like I ain't no 42 neither.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working. There ain't no 21-year-old going to outwork me, and that's half my age.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could say the same, but there are unfortunately 21-year-olds who are putting out more YouTube content than me, so that's
yeah, that is the type of work I'm talking about, Paul.
No, I know, I get
I
you.
mean, no disrespect, but I mean,
I couldn't do what you do, man. Don't worry. I couldn't do what you do. I get it.
Like the job that I was telling you about that did all that stuff to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I was manhandling steel.
Yeah.
I had 275. This is a small one now. This is 6'9" gauge, but 275 pounds coming at me in a machine that if it were to catch me in a half a second, it would take my hand and shove it all the way back up my shoulder.
Yeah, see, like I couldn't do that, and I'm glad that there are people that are like you that can do that, because I could not do that work. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. I would rather sit on my computer and rant and rave about IGG's bad mistakes than I would to put myself in that position.
I mean, I don't want to be be religious with it or anything, but it's about the best way I can explain about how it, how it kind of feels, because I kind of did the inside work and I don't really care for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
it's the man jobs. It
It's
makes
like
me feel like
you feel connected back
Makes
to
me
what
feel
you feel connected back to what you feel men are like, or men are supposed to be like. It makes you feel related to like what masculinity is to you.
like both my wives, they work, they help me, they provide whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's my money that's putting the roof that's building this house. It's
Sure.
my boss that's giving me the money to build this house. It's my boss that's buying me my Mustangs, it's buying me all my cars.
Sure.
These girls ain't got to do none of that.
Right.
That's all me.
Right. And having that kind of focus on being a provider is, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like I look at my life and that's how I was with my wife and kids as well. But my wife, like we had a little bit of a different scenario in the sense that my wife was going through some mental things at the time. She was undiagnosed PTSD, undiagnosed bipolar, and things like that. So like we were dealing with some pretty hefty mental issues. And then now that she's medicated and balanced, I now have a chance to take care of mine because I was also unmedicated ADHD, unmedicated PTSD, and all this kind of stuff. So it was lingering in that. And so we've been able to kind of, swap roles a little bit. So my wife went from being, the stay-at-home mom, and now I'm the stay-at-home dad, and she goes to work, and I stay home and take care of the kids right now, and I do my work from home, and, I do voice acting and stuff like that too that that I've been working on. So it's like, it's an interesting shift and dynamic that seems to happen, and I think real life just has to have that dynamic. It has to be able to change. It has to be able to be flexible. So I can appreciate that 100%.
Like, okay, so like recently, it's had an impact on my game, on my real life, all that. But these sons of bitches busted through my door. Now, I got a dog back, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Garrison.
Mm-hmm.
She's a lab.
Mm-hmm.
Her teeth are sharpened with hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I got a pit that can yank a porch. I got a chihuahua that's 5 times the size of any chihuahua you ever seen because I raised him up on red meat and pulling bricks for exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And tired.
All my dogs can yank semi-tires.
Sure.
Except for the chihuahua, he's still on bricks.
It would be crazy if he's pulling semi-tires.
I've got him to pull 2 lawnmower tires. But that ain't nothing. You might as well put him back on the bricks.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, no. Again, I get it. I get it. Right.
I could show. I could take you a picture and show you where this landlord that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
That got this house. The board is still sitting in this yard. This house still ain't been fixed with all these tweakers around here. But they busted that door open. But when they did, that dog was sitting right there at that door waiting on them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, I think that's the reason why dogs, by their own right, are phenomenal. They kind of understand that stuff earlier on. You know what I mean? But again, I also understand the perspective because, like, when that type of stuff happens, who's the one that steps up, right? Who's the one that gets up and has to deal with it, right?
Exactly, and this goes back to what we said with that right there going on. Remember we was talking about the pew-pews. I know we can't say some words on the YouTube.
No, it's fine. It's not. None of this stuff is safe for kids anyway. So I don't advertise to children. So you can say what you want.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. All right. So, go back to that conversation. Now, I got this going on, and it's not fixed. I've got a police report. Which, by the way, when that happened, I wasn't supposed to have my house built until like June of next year, but it's going to be done before October of
now
year.
they've ramped it up to do it earlier.
My boss did that shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess, and I guess that's a good thing that you've got a good boss like that, because I know a lot of people who they wouldn't allow that kind of stuff. It wouldn't be okay for them to have that kind of stuff.
Hey, let me tell you something. This little thing right here, this crooked son's bitches, tried saying she robbed this bank that she ain't never stepped foot in. Came in, arrest her, locked her up. My boss man pulled $600 out his pocket so I can go get her up out of jail. Just for them to say, "Oh, we're sorry. You was at work when it happened. It couldn't have been you." And it looked nothing like her on the picture.
Did you get your $600 back?
No.
That's so stupid. Bitch, I'd be suing.
Dude, I couldn't even sue these folks.
They
What?
gave me my job.
No, because it was a fucking bank. Because it was a fucking bank, nobody wanted to touch that shit.
And the police. You remember?
And then, hold on. There's a little bit more to that shit. There's a little bit more to it. So, like, because of that, I had to take the $600 that I was supposed to work on my card and gave it back to them to get, paying them. I
Yeah,
needed to
be
work on
square.
the Mustang that they had just bought me. So I had the tweaker do it because the tweaker didn't fix it right. I ended up having a car accident. And now I've got like a fucking $800 fine that I told you. But hold on. We go back. We go back to my ex-wife, right?
Yeah.
Remember I told you about the dark side of the carnival?
Uh-huh.
My ex-wife, the family. This is the county where the carnival's at.
Uh-oh.
So they know who I am. I ain't paid on this fine in like fucking 3-4 months,
Right.
and I don't plan on it until I get ready to move.
Right.
They know it.
Right.
There's no warrant for me.
Listen, I think I still owe Alberta money. I'm pretty sure I still owe them money. But it's a different state, or it's a different province, so screw them. I don't live there anymore. I don't plan to move back.
Dude, man, like, these motherfuckers are so retarded. This one little young cop, because I'm surrounded by the tweakers, he thought he was supposed to give me a ticket, right? So one of my dogs, I come home one day, the pit, the one I told you can yank off porches, the pit, she bites me one day.
Yeah.
I come home, and then she bites me, and then my lab went at her ass.
Right.
So it's over with. I've had to keep these two separated ever since. So like it's over with.
There ain't no
Like that lab, there's just certain things you just don't do. Like you don't mess with me, any of these two women, or this house,
Right.
or the big. Like what she knows is hers. She knows what her job is,
Right.
and that dog is well trained to do so. This dog hurt her daddy. So I had called the police out there because it's county and outside of city limits. I can't take it to the shelters. And I done been into it with the judge over some stray cats that I went to go shoot.
Mm-hmm.
That was like spraying and messing around with some apartments that I was managing.
Right. Stray cats, wild cats.
Like, yes.
Yep.
Like that's a whole nother story because like I mean I can see what the point of somebody saying it's animal cruelty, but no sir, not.
Listen,
when I leave for 3 months because of COVID and come back and find a cat trapped inside of a fan wall, like there's a screen, a fan, and another screen, and there's like 3 dead cats just like hung in there. And then I've got another one done drowned inside my toilet inside the apartment. And then in the apartment that I had that was not didn't have no renters in it.
Mhm.
And I went to go show somebody, had 2 dead cats in it. Because you got to think, I've been gone back. And then I had already told these folks that I was coming. I ain't had a chance to inspect nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think nothing of anything.
Right.
There was 2 dead cats inside that toilet.
Jesus. Well, see, I mean, but here's the thing. I can appreciate that because when I was living in Edmonton at the time, we had next door to a person who had 12 derelict cats in her garage. They were wild, feral cats that were in her garage. And the amount of red tape that we had to go through, even going through the legal system to get her to get rid of those, because they would do nothing but torment my dog every day. They would run back and forth on the fence, like meowing at my dog every day. They would like harass her. They got into our house. They got into our walls and all this shit. And there was almost nothing we could do through the legal means of calling animal control or or any of that kind of stuff to fix the issue. So I can totally appreciate when there's no other options. And when it's a real problem, I mean, sure, does it suck? Sure. But I mean, in the same situation, it sucks for them too.
Right. And that being said, I know I trained my dogs to do what I did, to do what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now that my dog done bit me, So I had to call the sheriff department and ask them what I'm supposed to do. Because I know I can't shoot this dog because I know if I do, I'm about to go to jail. These
You don't,
tweakers about to call the law, talk about they finally got a reason to get rid of me and get over here,
you don't have to call the police if your dog bites somebody. Do you?
Is she a pit?
She's a pet.
Does that matter where you live?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a big difference.
Yeah, but it's your own dog though. She bit you.
Yeah, I know.
She didn't bite somebody else.
I know. Right. So I have to keep them two separated. And I'm not keen keeping this dog over here in this kennel.
No. I mean, I get that. I get that. I'm just saying, like.
So I called the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Because I live in county, and I called them folks to see what my options were.
Oh, you're saying because of the fact that now that there's a problem with your two dogs, and you can't keep them separated.
And it's more cruel for me to keep her in prison. Man, I hate that. But problem solved once I move because I've got 7. You'll see it's beautiful.
Yeah, once you have 7 acres,
acres,
it doesn't matter. It's a different story.
But it's still fucking cruel, dude. And I've been having to do it for like fucking 6 months.
Yeah, I get you. It's I guess it's one of those situations where you never really know what you're gonna do until you're put in that position. And I don't know what would be better either, because I also understand how brutal the shelters are, right? Places that you would like keep your dog, or places that you would give up your dog if you have to. I even know like how hard it is to actually even like, because we have something called the SPCA. I'm not sure if you guys have it too. It's or something like that. It's an animal protection agency. And
I know they got some sorts of whatever, but like we've got good laws down here. Like the town I'm moving to,
yeah,
they literally like if there's any kind of cruelty, like my dogs, they're getting ate up by these fleas out here, and ain't nothing I can do about it. I've tried everything. I've even but while there's nothing I can do about my yard, and they got to go use the bathroom.
Right.
And these things are eating this out of them. So if I was in Marshall, where I'm moving to, I could actually get prosecuted for how they're looking and catch a fine. Well, it's nothing bad, but I can get fined with how they're looking.
I get that. Because we have the same thing. We've had animal call. We've actually, because we used to live in Calgary, and we had animal protection called on us because we had a husky. We've got a husky, and she would go outside in minus 30 degrees and fucking love it out there, right? So she'd be outside and it was minus 30, and people would walk by, see her out there, and think that we were abusing our dog, so they would call animal control on us. And I'm like, you don't understand. She's a fucking Siberian husky. She gets the extra coat specific so that she can be outside in minus 40 and like to be there. She's not happy when she's inside. She's begging at the door to go inside. I have to go outside and fight her to come inside in minus 40 degree weather. So I totally get that. Right? I understand that.
Well, I mean, you live in a different environment than I do, right?
Yeah.
So you got real cold, and then I'm real hot down here. My dogs ain't going. I can't just uproot myself and take myself up there to you, and my dogs be used to your environment, vice versa, which is same here. So like any and all dogs can. It's up to them. If a dog wants to be outside in that temperature, he gonna want to be outside in that temperature. If he don't, he ain't.
Well, they said specifically that they can be outside, but if you're gonna leave your dog, this is what they said: if you're gonna leave your dog outside at minus 30, which is minus 30 degrees Celsius is minus 30 degrees. Or is it minus 30 or minus 40 is the same? I think it's minus 40 is the same because minus 32 is 0 degrees, but minus 40 is minus 40. They're both the same.
You lost me and all that, right?
It just temperature. Anyways, so assume minus 40 Fahrenheit, right? Fucking cold.
Yeah.
Super cold.
Yes.
But here's the thing.
Anything below 0, my dogs are inside.
Yeah.
Anything. All right. So at 32 degrees Fahrenheit is our freezing. Once it gets below freezing, I will let my dogs go outside and stay outside for an hour or two. Once it hits single digits, my dogs stay inside. And if they have to use piss of shit in the bath, in the house, I've got a bathroom
Yeah.
where everybody defecate. I mean, I don't know. Everybody does their business in the bathroom. So the dogs need to go do their business in the bathroom. We'll clean up the mess later. We got puppy pads for
Sure.
when time happens.
Yeah, makes sense.
When there's a tornado, I've got two, in that new trailer I'm about to get. Trailer and all, yeah, you're gonna see it's a field in the middle of tornado out. But
Just
man,
tie her down, boys.
Look! It's a 9-minute walk from a river.
Just tie her down real good. You'll be fine. Just fucking tie her down.
Anyway, I got a bathtub on each side. I got the master bedroom's got its own bathroom, and then there's a community like on by the other bedroom on the other end.
Yeah.
So like I could put the dogs in one with one of us in there with the dogs to make sure that they're all in that bathtub, which would be the master bedroom bathtub because it'd be the bigger one.
Yeah.
And then the two other people would be in the other one in the other bathtub. The only other option is go in that culvert that's the runoff from the river and pray to baby Jesus. That river ain't flooded.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other one. Because if it's flooded, that culvert isn't going to be a culvert. It's going to be a dam.
Right. Look, when I send you pictures, you're going to be like, yes, sir, that's hillbilly head.
Yeah.
And then the culvert is the perfect tornado shelter.
Sure.
As long as that river ain't flooding.
Right. As long as it floods, then all of a sudden, like you said, you're swimming.
It's over with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if that thing floods, it's only 10 foot. And like I said.
So let's hop back here. We've been chatting for about an hour and 20 minutes. Let's hop back. I want to talk about the game a little bit before we wrap up here. I don't know about you, but it's been a great conversation so far. So I'd have a couple more questions I want to ask for you before we get wrapped up here. The first one of which, let me ask you very quickly, what is the reason why you continue to play this game? What brings you back to this game every day?
It's these shadow playing, dude, with family.
The community. That's what you're saying? Like your friends, right?
Yeah, it's our family. It's more than that. It's our family, yeah.
Yeah. The friends that you made, the relationships that you've made, right, in the game?
Yeah, but it's
like what do you mean? What do you mean exactly?
Because there's several of us that it extends out throughout outside the game.
Like, are these real life friends that you know outside the game as well?
Yes.
I mean, like your brother's there, I know that, but like, how many other people do you have that are like real life friends?
Like that I talk to through phone calls and text messages and all that.
No, like people that you've hung out with in real life.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And,
so it's all just people that you've met on the game then, or through games.
Yeah, but I still, yes,
yeah.
But
gotcha.
we're like, this one girl, Otate, she's literally a 4-hour drive, and sometime next year I've got to drive up there anyway, and then we're actually going to meet up, and I'm gonna smoke her ass out.
Nice.
Done talk her into it. So like, and then we're going up there to get my stepdaughter and bring her down here. That's why I've got the 2-bedroom.
I mean, that makes sense. You're finally picking her up and bringing her home. Is that permanent, or is it just like?
It's permanent because you know how back to what you was talking about with your livestock. I'm doing rabbits and hogs, dude.
Well, we did rabbits too, and I want to go back to doing rabbits. Rabbits are good.
But man, there's so much meat.
Mm-hmm. I love rabbit.
So much meat.
And rabbits are delicious.
Right, but I'm saying they breed so much. It's so much meat.
Yep, they breed like rabbits.
But let me put you on game. Hogs have 3 litters a year.
Yeah.
You start out with a sow and one male, one female. They have 3 litters a year, 15 a litter.
I've
At
heard.
300 a head, dude. At 300 a head.
I've
Now, full
heard.
grown, you're getting 9 to 15.
I've heard that pigs are very intelligent, and the amount of reinforcement that you need in their structure and homing and things like that is abnormal.
Well, look. I've got a patch of land that all I'm going to do is put some barbed wire up. I'm going to throw a little makeshift shelter out there, so that eventually they know they got something. But it's all brush. And I'm going to get a male and a female, and I'm going to put them out there. And within a year's time, they're going to have them. It's a swamp area too, so it's also amongst the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So I've got to go talk to the county and get the property rights from them to be able to rent the property from the people that are renting the property from them.
Right.
But I'll be able to do so because it's not being used because it belongs to the county.
Right.
So I'm going to put hogs out there. That's all you need is a makeshift shelter and some barbed wire.
Huh. My wife keeps bothering me for other animals because we do goats right now, and she keeps bothering me for other stuff. She wants to do cows. What kind of goats?
Yes.
We've got Savannah males and Spanish females.
I was going to do pygmy goats.
We have one pygmy goat that my wife picked up just for funsies. His name is Yoda. He's my little pygmy. Well,
that's what I was going to do until I decided over them with the rabbits, because my original idea was thinking chicken, but then I was like, no, the hell with that. But I'll tell you about that later on. You know, ain't no sense of wasting more time on it. But I was originally going to start with chickens.
Yeah.
And then I was going pygmy goats, because pygmy goats provide milk. Milk provides the cheese and butter. And they also provide meat.
Yeah.
Goat meat, delicious. And then pygmy goats can also be sold at fairs as pets.
Yeah. So there's a ton of, utility to it, and it's the same thing with goats. Like we don't do dairy goats. We don't raise dairy goats because I personally think that milking goats is a ridiculous amount of work, because you have to do it twice a day for all of them every day. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to do it all the time, twice a day.
Same with cattle.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get into that. So we don't raise dairy goats. We raise meat goats. And I'll tell you, they get big. But you're right. We gotta. I digress. We're taking a sidestep away from the game here. We're just trying to. But you're right. It comes down to. That's right. ADHD and cannabis are two things that's going to sidetrack everything. But you're right. It does come down to. We're going to wrap this up here. It does come down to the community, and I think that's an important thing, right? The people that you play with, the friendships that you've built, right? Those relationships that you've basically fostered over a long time in the throes of battle. Right, all of those things that you've learned how to play with each other and all this kind of stuff is totally a reason why most of us come back. So I can appreciate that 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you one last question before we finish up here. I have one thing I want to be able to give everybody that I do ask, and it's basically what advice you would give IGG. If IGG was watching this episode right now, and they were able to get through this entire thing, and they got to the end, and they were actually listening to you, Cornbread, what would you say is their best advice to give this game the most longevity that it can have?
I ain't been playing it long enough and paid much attention to all the details, whatnot, but they need to make sure more free-to-play players have more of a chance. They adding way too much, way too quickly, and costing way too much to get into them. Even folks that spending having to decide on what they about to spend their money on. Okay,
so time out for a second. You said that you don't know much about it. You don't pay, but this is how you feel, right?
Yes.
How would you feel? How would you feel if I told you? Hold on 1 second. Hold on, I got something for you. How would you feel if I told you most players, even the ones who are deep in the game like myself, are asking for the same thing? They want the game to slow down. Just chill the fuck out. You're going a little too hard. Calm down, right? Just relax, put the brakes on for a little bit, slow down. How would you feel to know that the opinion that you have from a person who just openly admitted he doesn't pay attention is the exact same as what a lot of the people who do pay attention to it are feeling?
They're probably right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a good point. It's a very valid point. Most people are agreeing with you by saying that.
Like, it's hard to explain. Like, there's folks that we play with that don't spend no money.
Yeah.
They on daily. I spend a little bit. Like I said, I spend, I'm a high end and low spender, but I buy the gold and I buy gold weekly.
Mm-hmm.
But even now, I'm having to choose on what I'm having to put my money on.
Yeah, you kind of have to make it stretch a little bit farther than you had to before.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
so like a free to play player, like, dude, I'm tier 4 and I've got twice as much power as folks with tier 5.
Mm-hmm. But this is also my question. You would be doing a lot better if you had tier 5. You'd be hitting a lot harder if you had tier 5. You need to get your tier 5 like ASAP, man. I'm telling you, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. You'd be having a lot more fun.
I've fought me some squishy tier 6s too. Look at your account when you get on them.
That's no. I get it. I remember being tier 5. I remember fighting tier 6s as a tier 5. But I also remember when I first got my tier 6, how much more influence it allowed me to have in the field. It changes everything. It changes everything. Anyways, that is going to be it. We're going to wrap this up, but I got one last thing for you, Cornbread. Before we do, I am going to give you, like I do with everybody else, the chance to give a shout out to any of the friends that you think might be watching, that you want to say hi to, that you want to give a shout out to, say thank you to. Feel free to do that now.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank my boss man, Matt Cash. If it wasn't for him, me and Mom wouldn't have anything that we wouldn't have, because that job that I had provides for us.
Mm-hmm.
And the crew that I work with there at Merrimack.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'd like to put it, my brother out there, Savage and SDC, over in 606. Everybody both welcome. They come check us on out and fight with us.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, that's what we enjoy doing.
You like to get it and bang with those troops, eh?
Yes.
Good.
I got tier 4 with 24 million troops.
How many tier 6 do you have out of that 24 million?
Hold on. I only had a couple of events where I had went up against squishy tier 6s. 875,000.
Well, you're still tier 4, so you got a long way to go and a long way to be able to get those up. So I can appreciate that.
But 2.4 million tier 5 kills, 2.8 million tier 4 kills.
Yep, no, it makes sense. I mean, the majority of your kills will be tier 4, tier 5, or at least a good chunk of them will be tier 4, tier 5. Most of them will be tier 3.
The majority of them came from the first 30 days.
Yeah. So it'll be tier 3 and lower probably. Especially if you said you got 24 million and only 5 million are tier 4, tier 5, that's going to mean that you've got a lot of tier 1, 2, 3s. But that's a lot of 1, 2, 3 fighting. I guess the biggest thing now is going to be once you get those tier 5s and you see how much that is going to influence your game and then push you towards tier 6. I hope you get there quick, man, because like I said, it really does up the game. And then you start to realize how much having that full eco tree of technology is going to support you. So I appreciate you making that decision.
Yes.
Other than that, my friends, I'd like to say thank you very much, CornBread420, for joining me on this special episode. It has been an absolute blast getting to know you, shooting the shit, smoking out with you. I think I've had more now than I normally do, but that's totally fine with me. It's been an absolute blast.
Look, you notice I ain't stopped smoking the entire time that we was on this thing, right?
Yeah, it's. I'm pretty impressed. I think if it ever came down to it, you might see me a little bit longer, running in the future, or past you in the race. But you might still see my taillights, if you know what I mean. Once you start stepping into the concentrate game, we'll take a real contest and a real run at it, and we'll start doing some dabs. But that being said, folks, again, I want to thank Cornbread for joining me on this episode. It's been an absolute blast. I want to give a quick shout out to everybody in Region 420. Thanks very much for providing a great region for us to grow in. I think GROP is doing a wonderful thing. I do want to give a quick a heads up. If there is anybody out there looking for a new region, looking for a new alliance, you do have a place to reach out to. Reach out to me in game. We are recruiting currently. So is, I believe you just said you are as well, right? So if you are looking for a different side of things, you can always reach out to SDC out of 606, or is it SCD?
SDC.
Oh, I had it right. Look at that. SDC out of 606. And reach out in game. If you do like the video, go ahead and smash the like, comment down below, fill out the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and if you can, click the join button and become a member today. It's only $5 a month, but it goes a long way to help support the stream because unfortunately IGG doesn't pay shit and YouTube doesn't pay very much. So if the community can reach out a little bit and help with supporting the channel, that would be fantastic. Just click that join button, become a member. Other than that, folks, with all that being said, love, peace, chicken grease, and until next time. Now you say stay lifted.
Stay lifted.